Good afternoon, everybody. This is the OU Flag Guy. We're in a little bit of a different setting than normally. It's not only also a little bit windy out, but you can also all kind of see why I don't wear, or why I always wear hats. This is something I've kind of wanted to do since the beginning of the season, kind of to expand upon my video making, and kind of give you almost like an unfiltered opinion on certain topics that may have happened, while also still respecting the time that it needs to come out, because unfortunately, just like most everybody, I work a full-time job, so sometimes I don't get the chance to just sit down, record videos, and I'm also one of those too. I need some time to just think about stuff as it happens, but I also know this is also going so fast as it goes that you almost have to be in the moment at this point. So one of my things that finally came in was like a windshield holder for my phone for recording. So that all being said, guys, again, a lot of this is going to be unfiltered stuff that I mentioned. So I'm going to be focused on the road a whole lot. So if you hear a lot of if you hear a lot of pauses, or I apologize in advance if you you hear me drop a cuss word or two or roar like a dinosaur, it's because I'm also as I am also a Oklahoma driver. Oklahoma drivers are some of the worst drivers in the United States. Trust me, I've driven all over the U.S. I can definitely say we are one of them. And being one of them, I feel like I can say that. So, that all being said, though, I want to try to make these videos kind of as afterthoughts after saying like a video or a live stream or something of relevance at this point. So, let's kind of get started with the very, very first one, guys, with it. First off, I just want to kind of say congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs for beating the Alabama Crimson Tide for the 2021 National Championship. You heard me go slow. There's construction here. If you're part of the Oklahoma City area, you know exactly why with it. Now, that all being said with it, every dog has his day, and it appears that Georgia finally beat their, what's it called? See, I'm already pausing, guys. Finally had their day and finally overcame their drought after 41 years, whichever one it is, to win the national championship at this point with it, guys. Not only that, I want you to let that sink in for a moment, okay? Let it sink in. Bama lost a matchup to Georgia. I can't even remember any time that's happened since I've been alive, and if it has, it was when I was very, very, very young at this point with it. More importantly, Saban went into the season who has not lost to any of his assistants before, and after last night, he also lost to his second one after Jimbo Fisher earlier in the year with Texas A&M at this point with it. For Georgia, I really guess that it took, rejecting basically hope and ignoring any type of shenanigans from the side to keep themselves laser focused and encourage them to make sure that they were focused to win this national championship and make it through the season, especially with the talent that they had with it. Again, to be honest though, based on their precedents and everything like that, I honestly didn't think Georgia was going to beat Bama, especially after Bama's true, honest beatdown of Georgia back in the SEC championship game, not only 5 weeks before that. I mean, I'll be honest, I rolled them out afterwards with it. In fact, even on my Sunday live streams, and I want to appreciate everybody who joins me on the Sunday live streams with it, I even said that I would prefer Bama to win at that point just in case, because it came down to, do you take the insufferability that Georgia fans are going to do for the next year, and also as well as 40 years of pent-up frustration, or do you just add one more championship to Bama's dynasty at that point with it? Because what's one more going to add at that point, you know? So, that all being said, though, you have to also remember, too, this was all for good reason. I mean, Georgia kind of became a meme outside of how fanatical and passionate their fan base is. All the times that they would get close to losing to or winning against Bama only to drop it in the end. And then the Uga versus Bevo mascot battle, and just kind of the Georgia sports curse in general and everything. But you know what? At the end of the day, guys, last night, you know what? They absolutely earned the right to be fanatical, to be smug, to rub it in everybody's faces with it. And I can appreciate, at the end of the day, another team winning the national championship instead of Bama. So, again, congratulations to Georgia for doing that. That said, too, I'll be honest, after watching that matchup against Michigan where they just dominated from the start of the whistle to the clock saying, or the scoreboard, the clock saying 0-0 at this point with it, and just how much they dominated them, and just kind of how lackadaisical Bama played against Cincinnati. Like, I thought Bama just didn't care and they were saving their stuff against Cincinnati, but I guess hindsight is 2020, and that's really all they had at that point with it. Though, for this, to be fair with Bama, to be completely fair, if you take everything into consideration and them calling this an absolute down year, and their definition of a down year is losing in the title game, I think everybody, including myself, would take that in a heartbeat at the moment, at this point with it, because just making it a success at that point. Now, for Bama, let's be honest, let's focus on the game for a moment. Bama kept it really, really close till about the fourth-ish quarter, I would say, with it. Even despite their best wide receivers and their best cornerbacks being out at that point. I feel bad for Jameson Williams. I really, really, really hope he's okay after it looks like he appears that he tore his ACL. I think that's what they said in the postgame at that point with it. But again, for having their best players out, both at cornerback and the wide receivers, they did an incredible job against Georgia. But in my opinion, the tone was finally set, and you saw the momentum swing after the blocked field goal at that point. Sure, it went into the fourth quarter with it, where all that really, really, really took into effect. But at the end of the day, it would just swing Georgia's way. Georgia just couldn't make no mistakes at that point. And, of course, you can't forget the Heisman curse. But, yeah, at the end of the day, Bama also just struggled defensively just to get anything going with it. Georgia was all over them all game at that point. You can't go without mentioning Georgia as well, with also mentioning Stetson Bennett just carrying his team after the loss in the SEC championship game with it. His story just in general reminds me of Baker a whole lot, except unlike Baker, Bennett actually went out and won the championship game. I could see movies being made of this, and he's going to live in Georgia lore forever. I mean, he better just prepare himself for not being able to pay for anything in Georgia for the rest of his life at this point. Is just, again, his story in general of just being a walk-on JUCO and being a lifelong fan to just winning the national championship as a 2-star winner. Like, it's a great story. And again, despite him not being the problem in the SEC title game, contrary to what a lot of people say today, he did redeem himself in this game, especially after the controversial fumble that they called with it. I don't think it was a fumble, but it is what it is. At this point with it. In addition, you got to give props to Kirby Smart. Not only was he able to beat Saban, his adjustments after halftime were really, really, really spectacular. Even I'm kind of going, whoa, Kirby, you actually did some really, really, really master game planning at this point, and you took the game very, very, very seriously at this point. And I think at this point, he's only missing the cotton in the fiesta. He's turning in kind of a Bob Stoops that way, where he's just gathering all the hardware at this point with it, including, again, a national championship. And finally, you have to give props to the Georgia defense as well. They came to play with a chip on their shoulder and an admission that they were not going to lose the game at this point, and they made it very, very, very clear that they were not going to lose against Bama again with it. And plus, at the end of the day, what you have to say is both Bama and Georgia just played a really, really, really well game in the title game at this point, as well as in the playoff. Though they did prove of why right now, despite it being very, very, very top-heavy, why those teams in the SEC are just incredibly good and just leagues above everybody else. Sure, I mean, it doesn't help that Georgia also had something like 19 5-stars on their team, but this, at the end of the day, was just pure mismatch talent between Cincinnati and Michigan at this point. So, that all being said with it, don't let anybody say otherwise that this was just a boring game or anything like that. This was a highly, highly competitive game with truly very, very few mistakes at this point. Not to mention that I don't think I can stress enough that, as everyone said, the points can score you points, but offense can score you points, but defense wins you championships. And I'm going to repeat that again because I stumbled upon my word. Offense scores you points, but defense scores you championships at this point. So, Again, this game was a dogfight, and basically it was just the elite of the elite playing until the very, very, very bitter end at this point with it. Anybody who watches, whether it's going to be watching the game at time or watching the highlights of it, or even just a repeat of it, because you know it's going to be on repeat on every Georgia station for quite some time, it's still an entertaining game of with it. Sure, it's like the Rose Bowl. You don't want to be on the losing side of it, but regardless, it is going to be one of those instant classic type of games because it almost came down to a field goal at this point with it. Again, I want to say congrats to the entirety of the Georgia fan base as well. Y'all looked outstanding all year at this point, and outside of that little blip in the SEC title game, guys, y'all were laser focused in this game, and you were not going to lose this game. You were out on a mission to win this game, and congratulations for winning it. I already cracked some jokes with my friends who have Georgia ties out there that they should probably be listening to the police scanners just to see how crazy the actual insanity is over there and how much people are celebrating, as well as unrelated to COVID, how many people are calling into work at this point to see what's it called, just to stay home and celebrate with it, or if they were up too late celebrating. So let's see really fast, I'm going across the way at this point. That all being said, guys, with it coming to the end of the video, I'm going to try to keep these as short as possible with it on my commute home, which is about 10-15 minutes from my normal workplace. The college football season is officially done, guys. OU season ended a couple weeks ago, but for college football altogether, the college football season is over at this point. Again, congrats Georgia Bros. Y'all enjoy this title. They don't happen all the time. Definitely enjoy it. Y'all earned it, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the drought is over for y'all. Just remember, even though Georgia won the title, I'm an OU fan. There's still only one. So, that all being said, guys, remember, comment, rate, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I'm going to be continuing to do this right into the off season. I have a lot of stuff planned and a lot of fun videos ready to go for it, as well as continuing doing the live streams on Sunday. If you're watching this today as well with it, tomorrow night, I have a couple guys joining on, and we're going to be doing a post-game a live stream and just assessing all of college football in general from the past year, because boy was 2021 just an insane year with it. So we're going to kind of recap the good, the bad, the highlights, the hardware, just kind of everything at this point. Same time, same place, guys. It will be 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And yeah, that's all she wrote with it. So again, guys, I do want to stress again, congratulations, Georgia. Y'all earned it. Definitely go get the hats and the t-shirts to this one. And I'll see everybody on tomorrow night.